In my previous video that ended up being the most popular video of my channel for some reason, I talked about 10 free databases you can use for your next application. Later in this video, I'm also going to show how you can actually host your own database on any VM, basically. I prefer to host them using Heston, but you can use any other VM if you want. So to start, I'm just going to go through those 10 because actually a lot has changed. So the first thing that hasn't changed actually is PlanetScale. So they're still doing free databases, 5 gigabit storage, and 1 billion row reads. So that's pretty good. But if you're looking for a MySQL database and you're fine with there not being a foreign key constraint, PlanetScale is probably the way to go. Then there is Cockroach Labs, which I didn't like last time due to their very weird request units pricing. They still have a free database for the serverless option, but their pricing is very not that transparent. So it's hard to know how much this 1 million request unit means, for example. So but good news is at least those two are street-fair. So this one I talked about last time as well. So right when I was planning to make that video, this was free. Or at least it was free until I was looking at it. Actually, I saw something about free here. I don't know what that was. But yeah, this one has now turned into paid. There is no free option. So yeah. Okay, wait, what? Discover more Edge 5 for free. So maybe there is still some free options. So maybe somebody could look at it. I'm not going to waste my time. The next one was FaunaDB. Of course, it's, I think, a MySQL compatible database. I think most applications still support it. So most ORMs are going to support FaunaDB. They have similar pricing structure with the TRO. I don't know what all these mean, but it looks big enough. 1 gigabyte storage is mostly the main part and 5 databases. So it should be enough for any application. Then we have render.com. These guys still offer a free database, but yes, I don't remember if this was exactly the same case last time around, but now it looks like you're going to get a free database for 90 days. And then after that, you're going to have to delete that database and then make a new database because that one's going to get deleted automatically. So yeah, if you're into kind of making a backup script, database backup script, just back it up, create a new database, or I guess delete that database, create a new one. It should take 5 or 10 minutes to get all that data back for, let's say, about 1 or 2 gigs of data in the database. Then we have Fly.io. I think they're still free. So they have three shared CPU VMs. So you can just create a database here. I don't remember. Oh, here they already have a Fly Postgres. I am dumb. Or maybe not. I don't know. Either ways, they have a free VM where you can just make your own database, like host your own database using something like Docker Compose. Then we have Supabase. They also offer a lot of other features, not just a database. There's like social OAuth, they handle all that, and API requests, edge functions, blah, blah, blah. I was thinking actually Neon.tech is one I talked about as well last time. I thought these guys are not free anymore, but I guess they still are. So you still get 3 gigabytes of data. So they're basically to Postgres what PlanetScale is for MySQL. And I frankly like Postgres better than MySQL due to some of the extension supports. Next one is Adaptable.io. They still have a free plan with, I believe, a 256 MB database storage and like shared CPU, 256 GB RAM, megabytes RAM. So that should still be enough for a small application. So those are all the 10 databases I already talked about from last time. So there's a few of them that turn into paid or just disappeared altogether. I was thinking actually Neon.tech would be one of those, but yeah, I just checked the pricing recently and it looks like they're not. But they're still VC funded. So I would say that maybe in about half a year, they're going to go only the paid route. So that is the old ones. Now let's see some of the new ones. So these ones I'm going to leave for later because these are like the shady websites. I haven't heard their brand name anywhere else kind of deal. But if the data you're storing isn't that important, I mean, you can just go for it, of course. This one I didn't really talk about last time, but Google Cloud actually has a always free tier, which gives you a E2 Micro VM, but only these locations. Just make sure that you're creating that in this location. And yeah, if you have a VM, you can just do a docker compose, create a Postgres there, bam, done. And they also have like something like Firestore, like a NoSQL database, but I don't really prefer NoSQL databases. Although somebody did point out that FaunaDB is actually a NoSQL database, which I did not know. I thought it was just like a SQL database, MySQL support. So yeah, the E2 Micro from Google Cloud, I believe, has 2 vCPUs and I think 1 GB of RAM. So that's pretty decent for an always free tier. And I did see some comments on Reddit saying like you might see a charge. So one thing with Google Cloud is you do have to enter your credit card. And they seem to have like 3 cents of charge even on this always free tier, but it goes away at the end of the month. It's like a discount thing at the end, so you don't really get charged anything. So yeah, just something to take note. Okay, I'm not even sure why I have Hasura on here. I think it was just a similar thing. Oh yeah, this one. I didn't really talk about this bits.io. Actually, this is one of the old ones I talked about already. They are now kind of, I don't know, going bankrupt. Somebody bought them or something, so they no longer have a free tier. I don't think they even exist anymore. So yeah, that's a bummer. And a new kind of competitor in this free database is Vercel. I mean, for Vercel, their free tier is kind of good, but officially, you're not supposed to really use it for something that makes money. So yeah, I also found that pretty tough pill to swallow. But they do offer, I think actually they even use Neon.tech as a provider. So they have like one database and then some compute time and some blah, blah, blah. And also it goes down to 0. So it's not exactly, so that is just like 2 days of compute time actually. But I think it spins down when you are not using the database. And so if you're not hitting the database constantly, then this should be enough for your use case. And with Vercel, I think the big thing is also the integration, because most people watching me are going to be using something like Next.js with Vercel. They're always free tier, and their paid tier that scams money out of you for bandwidth. Another one is a very tiny kind of thing I remember off the top of my head is ElephantSQL. So they have a very, very small free tier, but they do have it. So it's 20 megabytes of data and free connections. It's free, I don't know, potato. Next one up is IBM Cloud. So this one is also something I didn't really notice before. So these guys have 200 MB of data storage on their light plan. And I believe so in their fine print here, you can see that they provide a free database service, but you are required to basically extend your free account every 90 days by email. And if you don't, then your free account is going to be kind of cleaned out after 90 days. And they're also deleted after 30 days of inactivity. So you have to do, I don't know, something inside there, I guess, in your database. But yeah, you can't beat free, of course. And next one is going to be Cloudflare. This one is still in beta or alpha. I don't exactly remember. I think it was in alpha. Now it's in beta. I don't know how the Greek system thing works. Yeah, I think beta makes more sense because alpha is first and beta is second. Yeah. So this is like a serverless edge database. You get 1 GB of storage, and it's like spread everywhere, basically in all regions. So you have an edge database that's basically very close to your user, and Cloudflare handles all the infrastructure and everything. So replication, writes, stuff like that is all handled by them. And yeah, the one big problem I see with this one right now is, first of all, I think they're only available if you're on a wait list of if you're a paid customer or something. And also, the storage itself, I think it's actually maximum is 5 gigabytes. I don't exactly remember, because I saw somewhere that they're trying to improve the total amount of storage available on the database. So the biggest downside here is the database itself you can only use from a Cloudflare worker. So yeah, that's a bummer. So if you're hosting like a pretty small application and you're using Cloudflare workers, you can use D1, but anything else, and it will be pretty tricky. The next one is something called SATA. I was actually not going to feature this because their actual website is kind of tricky, like what it does. Like it looks like it's some sort of easier to use database, but it doesn't look like an actual database. And you can like kind of query it as a like CSV table and stuff like that. Very confusing. But then I saw they have a package for basic Next.js, which is one of the most popular front-end or back-end framework at the moment. And it's kind of like a mix between PlanetScale and Prisma. So it actually, you can create, it's kind of sound weird, but it creates also a client, like a Prisma client, which is type safe, I believe. So you can basically create a database, and depending on that database, you can have type safe outputs and just basically query the similar way as you would with a Prisma client. So basically like where you would do prisma.post.get, like, I don't know, find all or get all, and you just do the same thing with zata.db.post.get all. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. And yeah, they have a free tier for, they say they have free tier for like 15 gigabytes of data, and it's 75 requests a second, which I'm guessing like 75 connections a second, something like that. So yeah, this should be pretty good enough for a small application. Now, the next one is sort of a free tier, but I mean, I feel like if I go down this route, I'm going to find a lot of like these cloud providers that give you a free tier and then kind of like for like 60 days and get you hooked on the free credits, and then you have to start paying. But I've been using DigitalOcean for quite some time. Same for Hesner, and yeah, I really like their service. I think DigitalOcean is a bit easier to register for, actually. Like Hesner, they have this whole like verification process you have to go through before you can even open a new server, because they're so cheap and they're like one of the biggest cloud providers. So yeah. So with DigitalOcean, you get $2,200 of free credits for 2 months, basically. That's gonna get you like a pretty big machine. So if you want to just try out some application, this is a pretty good way to go. And you can actually use my referral code down below, which will give me like $20 or something if you do end up paying. I don't expect anybody to be paying, because I think from my last video, I got only 1% who paid, and I have like $20 of free credit on DigitalOcean because of that. All right, so next one, I think I've gone through all of these. Yeah, so now let's go with the shady bunch. So yeah, just be careful. I'm just saying it again. These I have not validated at all. I just found them off GitHub, where people could post like free database services. And yeah, these are what I found. So this one is called CleverCloud, and they have some sort of dev Postgres server, 256 MB storage, 5 connection limit for the Postgres. But again, you can't read free price. Next one is something called Scalingo, which kind of sounds similar to Scaleway, which also has a similar credit thing like DigitalOcean. Actually, if you really wanted to just cycle through them, you could just like have 2 months of free credits on DigitalOcean, then I think like 1 month of free credits on Scaleway, and then like, I don't know, like 5 months of credit on Hetzner. You could just keep like going through like that, because there's so many cloud providers that just have like this free tier just to get you hooked on their product. So anyway, yeah, it seems like a pretty simple enough. Then we have this RemoteMySQL. Seems very, again, very shady. Like it's one of those like WordPress free websites which actually get you to display ads on your website. But I don't know how they would be able to do it with like your database. So I guess it's fine. So yeah, they have a free 100 MB database size. That's all I'm going to say about that. I think that's actually all they have to say about it as well. Like that's it. What, choose us? We're free. That's it. Fine. Next one, we have InfinityFree. Now this is the most shadiest thing I've seen. So they say they offer free hosting feature. How? They say they provide 400 MySQL databases. How? How do they do that for free? I don't understand. So yeah, use them at their own at your own risk. They have 5 gigabytes of disk space. They apparently bring your own domain out, although I would not trust trust them. I would just keep some database here and just be done with it. Next one is FreeDB.tech. Using the same domain name as, domain TLD as Neon.tech, I guess. Yeah, that's a pretty clear pricing. $0 per month. You get 1 MySQL database for 50 megabytes of storage. Yeah, just simple as that. And the next one is this thing called I guess it's PingCap, or is it TIDB? Okay, I don't know. So it's basically like a serverless database. Again, 25 gigs of free. Row storage. That's a confusing way of handling storage. And also the request unit thing, I still don't get it. But yeah, so that's free. So yeah, pretty good. And with that, I think we're done. As always, do check out my referral code for the Hesner, because I'm hosting some stuff there and I would like to get some affiliate money from that, so I can just not have to pay and just save my money, because I am earning from those websites. So it's basically like, even though it's free credits, I would not be able to convert it into actual money, because I'm actually gonna be paying for it with real money anyways. It's pretty much free money for me. So yeah, if you want to give me free money and also get some free money as in credits, you can use my referral code for Hattener, or if you find their process too difficult for verification, you can also use DigitalOcean. They're pretty good as well. So now I'm going to do something I said I will do earlier. I will show how you can actually host a Postgres database in any VM, right? So let's just go bing, bang, bang. Let's make a check so I don't show my previous servers, which I have to blur out every time. So what Hesner has actually is something pretty cool now. They have this ARM64 instance type. Those are only available in Falkenstein, I think. So let's go there, ARM64, and you can see the prices are actually much lower than their lowest. Wait, what? Actually, right. So it's the lowest tier, but you can see here the vCPU and the RAM actually is much higher than their lowest one here. So here on the x86, you get 1 vCPU and 2 RAM, and on the ARM64, you get 2 vCPU and 4 gig RAM. So let's just do that. Bing, bing, bong. And let's just, okay, well, that's a, let's just do it without an SSH key. I'm really used to creating with SSH key. All right, let's just call it that LUT create by now. So it's gonna take a little bit. All right, and we already have it. So I'm gonna show how easy it actually is. Okay. Yes. God damn it. Okay, so it's just this easy. So this is it. We're just gonna create the database.yaml. So nano database.yaml. I really hate this Mac. see what the hell is going on in case of database.yaml. Paste that there. So these are this is the Postgres database. Bang, that's the username, the password, the database name. And I can do this. And let's just sudo apt, I guess apt get install docker post. Right, sudo apt get update first. All right, now we should be able to do it. Install docker compose, which should also install docker. All right, and now I can just do docker. Right, I mentioned a volume, but I did not copy that volume. So let's just copy that over here. Let's nano into it. Actually, let's just run create space YAML. There we go. And up. This is going to pull Postgres 15 and just start a container. And that's it. Our database is now live. So you'll be thinking, where can I then find my database is? And it's at just this IP address that you get from basically any VM provider. And you can also have some extra safety where you can add a firewall. For example, here I can add, let's say I can create a firewall. Well, I say, okay, like on port TCP, I think it's like 5432. You can let's only allow, let's say, I don't know, like some IP address from your own server, which is going to access this database. Only allow those to actually access the database, because there will be some people who will be constantly scanning all the servers and all their ports. And once they discover that there is some sort of database being hosted at port 5432, even though they don't know the password, they're going to just keep trying and trying and trying and trying. So it's better to just block all the traffic in the first place. So yeah, I hope you found this useful. This is actually mostly also for me, so I can remember for my next project if I do end up going with a free database. Although most of the time I just go with like a similar setup to what I do on here, Hesner, where I just get a $3 machine, and sometimes I actually even host like 4 or 5 different applications on the same machine. So yeah, if you want a tutorial on that, so let me know. But yeah, that's it for me, and see you next time. Bye.